Alrighty, so we're on our last section of chapter 4, and we're doing some more word problems, but these are, this is 410, and it's actually problems without solutions. So you're ended up starting to work a word problem, and you get no solution. And there's a couple reasons why you get no solutions. So, some of the common reasons word problems have no solution is as follows. You could not enough information is given. Information. The given facts lead to an unrealistic result. Or the given facts are contradictory. Contradictory. Okay, and so again, obviously if you don't have enough information, you can't complete the problem. If you have an unrealistic result, let's just say you get a width or a length, and it's a negative number. You can't have a negative width or a negative distance, so that's unrealistic. You might get a result, but it's unrealistic. Or contradictory, where again, that means you have two things, like one says something and then the other says the opposite of it, and so you can't put them together because they contradict each other. So we're going to solve these word problems, and if they don't have a solution, we're going to have to state why. You cannot just put no solution and that's it. You need to start solving it like you normally would solve another problem, because it could end up working out. You just get to a point where you realize it's not going to work, and you say no solution, and you say why. Okay, so for the first 2 hours of her trip, Jenny drove at her normal speed, but then road repairs forced her to drive 10 miles per hour slower than her normal speed. Still, she made the trip in 3 hours. Find her normal speed. Okay, so we're going to start our chart just like we always do with it's going to be rate times time equals distance. And we're going to start with her original speed, and then her slower speed or whatever. Okay, so we know that, okay, so Jenny started here and she went for 2 hours at her normal speed of something. So I'm going to say her rate of her original speed, we don't know, that's our x, but we know she drove for 2 hours. So that would give us 2x over here, okay? Then she had to go 10 miles an hour slower for some more time, but she still made the trip in 3 hours. Well, her slower speed is 10 miles an hour slower, so we're going to say to x, and then we're going to have to subtract 10. So she went x minus 10. Now, we know she drove the first trip in 2 hours, and the total was 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1, so we're left with 1 right here. So that gives us x minus 10. All right, everything's looking good. We have our chart filled out. Now we need to figure out our equation. We need to think about, does it tell us that the distances are equal, like that her original speed distance for the 2 hours was the same as her distance as her other one? Well, it doesn't say that in there. Or do they add up to a total distance? It doesn't say that either. So therefore, this is no solution because there's not enough info. We need to know something about her total distance, whether it totals to something or that the distances equal each other. So that's why it is no solution at this point. We had one very similar to this, and we were able to solve it because we had that information. Alrighty, now a lawn is 8 meters longer than it is wide. It is surrounded by a flower bed 5 meters wide. Find the dimensions of the lawn if the area of the flower bed is 140 meters square. Okay, so we're going to draw. I'm going to first do my sketch. So I have my lawn, and it's 8 meters longer than it is wide. So if I have the width is this, then it's W plus 8. Okay, it's surrounded by a flower bed, so I'm going to change the color. And the flower bed this is 5, so it's going to be 5, everywhere. So if I want to find this length right here, I'm having 5 plus W plus 8 plus another 5. Well, that's 10 plus 8, which is 18. So I have W plus 18. And this way I have 5, and I have another 5. Add it with W, so that's W plus 10. Okay, so I found my length and width, so to speak, of both of my things. Now, we know that the dimensions of the lawn, we know that the area of the flower bed, okay? The flower bed is this, I'm going to highlight it. is this part in here, okay? This is the flower bed, okay? So we know that if we take, that we need to find the dimensions of the lawn if the flower bed is surrounded by 140 meters square. Okay, so we know that if we start with the whole thing, which is the big rectangle, we're going to multiply them to get their area. And I know if I subtract this area in here, this, if I subtract the lawn, which we can find out the area, which is W times W plus 8, it should equal this leftover area, which we already know is 140. So now we just need to solve. So far so good. So I'm going to FOIL, so we get W squared. I get plus 18W plus 10W plus 180 minus W squared minus 8W equals 140. Well, these cancel out. I'm going to simplify all this together, so that's going to give me 20W. I have this plus 180 equals 140. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 180. So that gives me 20W equals negative 40. Divide by 20. So that gives me W equals a negative 2. That can't happen. We can't have a negative width because it is a distance. So therefore, we have no solution because of unrealistic results. Again, in order to get credit for this one, you would have to have all of this information. So you're basically solving it. You can't just put no solution like that. You wouldn't know until you solved it. So make sure you're actually trying to solve it because you never know if it's going to have a real solution or not. There you go.